everyone, and welcome back to my channel. This past week was really crazy with me for school because we had a lot of due dates right before spring break, so I wasn't able to record the next part in the final chapter in my ACO series, but I'm super excited to show you guys that one. So instead, I'm going to just do a real quick flip through of this sketchbook, which was my Inktober 2017 sketchbook. It is a Canson mixed media sketchbook, 50 pages, 7 by 10. This is like my go-to sketchbook for everything. So there are a couple other sketches at the end that are not related to Inktober, mostly. So I did follow the official Inktober prompt list, but for days where it's like I wasn't feeling super inspired, I would look at other prompt lists just to get ideas. So day one of Inktober was of course Swift. So I decided to draw a cute little, witch flying on a broomstick in the air. I had a lot of fun doing this one. She came out really nice. And then day two, of course, was Divided. And as you can see, I started coloring this one. This is sort of a goal of mine. I'm still partially working in the sketchbook because I want to color all of these illustrations because they're just really fun and I like them a lot. But this one especially, I thought it was kind of funny to do a little potion witch, and this is like her main skill, and of course sometimes she can get kind of ahead of herself and little accidents happen, so obviously something didn't go as planned and this strange blobby creatures are coming out from her potion, and you can see her little familiar looking kind of worried. I like that part. But day three was Poison. So real simple, just like a bottle with a poison liquid in it saying drink me, all ominous, with little mushrooms and then sort of like a spirit of the bottle coming out. The colors were kind of interesting choice for this one, but it's all right. I don't mind it. Day four was Underwater. I had a bunch of different sort of sketch ideas for this, most of them involving mermaids, but this was the one that I liked the best. Sort of just playing around with like this huge mermaid in this glass aquarium and sort of her hands pressed up against the glass and what that would look like. And then day five is a little simpler. My idea here was just like long hair, but the character herself is supposed to be like Persephone. And that was the idea, the flower crown with sort of the black spikiness and then the pomegranates. I think she looks really cute. And then day six, this is one of my favorite ones out of here actually. So day six was Sword. And I was really, really happy with this because normally I do not draw a lot of guy characters, which is something I'm working on, but I was really, really happy with how he came out. And then sort of this Dyrad fairy character stealing his sword. I really like this, these two characters, so don't be surprised if you see sort of more work or possibly like a little mini comic about them. Same goes for day seven, which is Shy. And I had a bunch of different ideas for this, but these ones were my favorite, and I absolutely love these two characters. And I've actually drawn the mermaid about 2 other times now. One was for my dad's birthday card, and then later on the back of this sketchbook, you'll see a little like sketch plan for a 4-panel mini comic of these two. Just something really cute and little that I did for a amino challenge. Day 8 was Crooked, and at this time I was reading a lot of like manga and comics that featured a lot of like long-haired vampire dudes, so that was part of the inspiration for this. But honestly, I had a really hard time thinking of anything for Crooked besides just like somebody with this crooked, creepy smile. Not the most popular one of my sketches, but it's fine. Day 9 was Screech, and so this one's kind of funny because it's sort of a double meaning here where the door is screeching. She's noticing the door and not noticing the scary grudge-like monster behind her, which of course will probably lead her to doing more screaming. And then day 10, the prompt was Gigantic, and if this sketch looks sort of familiar, that's because I actually, first time I drew this was in one of my summer sketchbooks that I did a sketchbook tour a while back. I really liked that sketch and I wanted to try inking it, so I just used the light box and transferred it over here and inked it out. I still need to color it, which will be nice, lots of fun. And then day 11 prompt was run, and so I did this little mini kind of 4-panel comic again. There's just this idea that was bouncing around my head of this girl running. She trips, and then you see just a little hint of what was chasing her. And then day 12 was shattered. So again, I kind of struggled with an idea for this one. I ended up with sort of this broken aquarium with this mermaid coming out, and her like friend, I guess you could say, looking on and worry, how is she gonna fix this? Day 13 was teaming, so I did something really simple with just sort of like this girl had all these sort of like spirit monsters teaming around her. I would assume she's probably some sort of medium or necromancer was sort of the idea. And then day 14 was fierce, so I did a little fan art here of Elvira, Mistress of the Dark, because she is oh so fierce, and I adore her. And it was a lot of fun to draw that one. I used, for this one, a lot of my pocket, like, ink brush pen. Day 15 was mysterious, so just really simple, sort of like a crystal ball, floating candles, and the seer sort of, almost like a part of the mist sort of flying around it. Kind of neat. Somehow, I don't know how this happened, but day 16 and day 17 ended up on the same page, but day 16's prompt was fat, so just like a bat who got into the bag of candy and ate all of it, looking very pleased with themselves. And then day 17 is probably one of my least favorites out of the sketchbook. Again, I kind of struggled with what to do, but the idea was like this witch walking home, and she sees this graceful owl about to land on the tree. Nice little sketch there. But day 18, this is another big favorite of mine, and this is actually, I inked most of this with my brown micron pen, so that's why it looks a little bit different. But the prompt was filthy, so the idea was this witch washing her werewolf friend, and sort of the idea was like, a clean werewolf is a happy werewolf, but he doesn't look very happy right now. And then day 19, the prompt was cloud, so just like a girl sitting up, looking at the moon and the clouds. Nice and chill. Day 20's prompt was deep, so like a deep sea witch at her cauldron with her little, anglerfish friends, which is funny because every time I see anglerfish now, all I think of is Snail Lords, who does the comic Nightmare Factory, which is really good. You can find them on Instagram. They do a lot of funny stuff. Day 21 was furious, and at this point in the prompt challenge, I was sort of running out of steam, so you'll notice that these get a bit smaller, a little less complicated, but furious, the idea was like a furious fury tied up, not looking very happy. And then day 22, the prompt was trail, so just sort of a spooky trail through the woods with these little creepy monsters peeking out behind the trees. Day 23 was juicy, so just sort of like this creepy girl with a heart dangling from some rope. Heart eater was sort of the idea, I guess. Day 24, the prompt was blind, so again, I struggled with this one, so I remember looking at another prompt and seeing like ice queen or ice or snow or something, so the idea was sort of like this blind ice queen character, which I have a whole idea of how I want to do the color scheme for this one. I just haven't gotten to it yet. And then day 25, then this is one that I went back and colored. The prompt was ship, so I did this cool little mermaid sort of sitting, looking out at this sunken ship. But this one was a big favorite on my Instagram, so much so that I'm actually have a plan to work on sort of some continuing illustrations, sort of like a comic of what happens next. What does she do now? Does she go to the ship? Does she not go to the ship? You'll just have to wait and find out. And then, so this one needs a bit of explanation because not a lot of people understood this one. But day 26 prompt was squeak. So of course, the first thing that came to mind was a mouse, which then led me to think of the scene from Mean Girls where it's Halloween. I think it's Gretchen is knocking on Karen's door. And when she opens the door, she's like, "What are you supposed to be?" And she's like, "I'm a mouse, duh," and points at the little ears on her head. So I thought, oh, that'd be kind of funny to do in reverse, where it's a mouse supposed to be dressing up as a human and saying sort of the same line. But again, it didn't exactly translate well. Day 27 was climb, and so I just did something really simple, just sort of like these crazy cliffs with dragons and a little person sitting there watching out over the loch and the forest down below. Day 28 was fall, so of course I did like a fall fairy. I can't wait to like dive in and color this one since I have a whole idea for how I want her to look, but I really like that one. And then day 21. This is probably another one of my favorite ones because these characters are really special to me. They're part of one of my stories and I've been playing around with them for a long time. I'm still working on most of their character designs, but for United, that's what I decided to draw. Still working on his character design. Hers, this is like almost like the final stage I want hers to look in, but I really adore these characters. There's a whole long story to how they came into being. Day 30 is found, so again, something really simple, just like a witch who found her fox friend in a field, like what's supposed to be like a city or town in the background. Pretty chill, nothing too crazy. Again, I sort of used my Pentel pocket brush pen for this one a little bit. And then the final day is day 31, mask. And this is, again, probably another one of my top favorites out of this sketchbook. And for the mask, I saw a really cool one on Pinterest and decided to use that as sort of like the basis. And then I changed it a bit, but this one is super cool. I'm really, really happy with that one. And then moving on from there with the final pages in the sketchbook, I sort of just did a bunch of random stuff. This was, of course, back when I was still doing like regularly Fan Art Fridays on my Instagram. So I decided to draw 3 of the characters from Voltron with flower crowns on their hair, I guess. So I did Lotor, Keith, and then Pidge. Not my favorite, honestly, fan art sketches that I've done, but I was really just trying to draw them in their like legit style from the show. It's alright. This one is a sketch idea for a watercolor piece that I want to do. Just sort of like this cool mermaid sitting in this pond water with a bunch of fish coming around her. And then this one, if you follow me on Instagram, then you've already seen that I've transferred this sketch onto a bigger piece of paper, and I will be doing a watercolor process picture and video of this one. I really, really like it. And then this is just sort of like, this started out as just like a doodle page while I was at school, but I really liked it because it was just sort of weird. I'm also using it sort of like a warm-up inking page, but each one sort of like builds off and connects to the other. I'm still trying to decide if I want to fill the whole entire page with a bunch of these random doodles. I don't know if you guys want to see like the whole entire page with that, you're interested in seeing me work on this more, then definitely leave a comment saying so. And then, so here comes my little mini series, which are my holiday mermaids. So each one is inspired by a different kind of holiday theme. So this one was a Christmas tree. I really like the top half. The tail, could have been better, but it was really fun. I was playing a lot with my Fine Tech metallic watercolors for these ones. The second one is Holly. That was the sort of idea and prompt behind it. She looks very Hawaiian, which is really cool. I really like how that came out. And this is also the first time that I really sort of like felt like I got a nice sort of even darker skin tone on a character, because honestly I don't have a ton of the like Copic marker skin shades, so it's a little bit difficult sometimes to get variation that I want, but that finally figured out something that worked. And then the second to last one, and this is probably my my top favorite out of all these ones, is of course like the snowflake ice one. And I absolutely love how I got the metallic watercolors to be like so frosted and thin on her like parts of her tail and stuff. It looks so nice. But sort of the inspiration for the tail was like, I was thinking of an orca whale, which was really cool, but I really like how this one came out. And then the final one is like my second favorite, which is of course the candy cane mermaid with a tail inspired by a seahorse, which is one of my favorite sea creatures. But I used a lot of my gold Fintex watercolors on this one. And then moving on, let's see. Okay, so this one is actually something I plan on doing a video on, because this is actually part of a redraw challenge that I'm doing of a very old sketch, which I actually think I have somewhere over here. Aha, yes. So this is the ancient drawing I did a while back. Actually, maybe it was like 2010. This was like way back when I was still learning how to like do anime style. A lot of my drawings were based on that, so lots of bigger eyes. But as you can see, sort of my style has changed a bit, but I really like how this one came out. It's sort of funny. Moving on to the next page, and here is that one thing I was talking about where it was the sort of plan for that little 4-panel comic with those two characters that I really want to sort of probably blow them up a little bit bigger and transfer over and probably do some watercolor on them. And then starting here, this was like the beginning of my little challenge I was doing in February, where it was Fairy February. And so the first one, I just made up my own, where it was just like, the prompt was wind. And then afterwards on my Instagram, I sort of made a bunch of polls where people could vote for the next day's theme. And so for this one, the theme was royal. And I really love how he came out. It's very difficult to draw male characters sometimes, but that one really worked out well. And then day 3 was forest, and if you looks like a familiar character because it is for my, what was it, day 5 of Inktober, the sword. Yeah, that's the same little die rat character. And then day 4 was darkness, so just like a little dark spooky fairy. And so for each one of these I was using my Prismacolor Color Erase pencils, because I have like a bunch of different colors. So each one I was sort of keeping with like a limited color theme. Day 5 was gemstone, so just like little gemstone sprites. Day 6 was waterfall. And then day 7 was succulent, so I did like a little succulent troll eating the succulent, which I would not be very happy with, even if it's adorable. Day 8 was lake, so I of course had to draw one of my favorite sort of fairy creatures, which is a kelpie. I was really happy with that one. And then we're getting into the final pages of this sketchbook, which these actually happened probably before, like in the middle of my Inktober challenge. And this was ideas for my Halloween card in my printmaking class. So this was one idea that I was playing around with. This was another one. This was a close like second winner. I still really like this one, and I plan to transfer it over and probably do something with like watercolor with it. And then this was the sort of final winning sketch, and I really like it. If you want to see sort of like part of the final stage of what this Halloween card ended up looking like, it's over on my Instagram. I can leave a link to that down below if you guys are interested in seeing it. But it was a really fun process, and you can see that I have like these little notes like yellow orange and yellow green, because we were using only like 3 colors, complementary colors. So I was sort of like marking out, okay, what's going to be what color. So my color scheme for this was yellow, green, yellow, orange, and violet. Although with printmaking, making violet out of the printmaker's ink is kind of hard, and didn't exactly go as planned, but I still really like it. And then the last one in this was actually like a very crappy transfer sketch of one of my drawings from Giganthropy, because that was like the first thing, like, oh, that might make a great Halloween card, but just wasn't really working. So I did some new original things. But yeah, that is everything that is in this little sketchbook. I hope you guys enjoyed this little flip through, and I will see you in the next one. Have a great day, guys.